And we begin this half hour with a southern Kentucky city is preparing to vote on an ordinance dealing with panhandling problems. Somerset's mayor says they cannot stop people from panhandling, but says what he is proposing will make the situation safer for all involved. The city council will likely vote next month on a plan they say will address people walking into busy roadways and causing traffic and safety issues. If passed, the ordinance would make crossing arterial roadways or those that carry the most traffic in the city other than in a crosswalk punishable by a fine. It would also prohibit pedestrians from approaching cars and staying in a median if they have 2 consecutive chances to cross.
Since 2023, we've had almost 200 pedestrian-related calls, 32 of those being accidents with a motor vehicle. So panhandling is just kind of another factor. People being too close to the roadway or on busy roadways, and it's just creating a safety concern.
The ordinance is modeled after one in Lexington. It could be voted on during the November 11th meeting. At least 60 people were killed and dozens wounded in Israeli strikes on Lebanon's eastern Bekaa Valley. Israel launched its major offensive in Lebanon a month ago, saying it was targeting the Iran-backed Hezbollah group to secure the return home of tens of thousands of Israelis evacuated from the north. Beirut authorities say Israel's Lebanon offensive has killed more than 2,500 people and displaced more than 1.2 million.
It's going to be another wonderful afternoon as you head into the evening hours to really seeing these nice temperatures continue. And looking out at that London Corbin Airport right now, you can see nice and mostly clear skies. We do have that temperature 76 degrees, and this is the trend we're seeing throughout the rest of the region, really those upper 60s. And as you head to Somerset, even 81 degrees. So definitely a warm afternoon. Take advantage of that. We will be cooling down to our low temperatures in the overnight hours to about the 50-degree mark, 48 for Harlan, 50 for Manchester, 53 for Irvine. A little bit warmer as you travel to Hazard, 57. But satellite and radar is clear for today. We're not expecting any rain. And as we look at the next couple hours, we'll see that temperature getting cooler. Steve?
All right, Megan, thank you. Former President Donald Trump is making 2 stops in Pennsylvania today. He'll take part in a roundtable discussion in Drexel Hill. There, he is expected to hear from senior citizens expressing their disapproval with the Biden-Harris administration's policies for seniors on Medicare or who are living on a fixed income. Later, he will host a rally in Allentown. Vice President Kamala Harris is preparing for the final big address of her campaign. Tonight's primetime speech will be held in Washington, D.C.'s Ellipse, the area where Donald Trump rallied his supporters on January 6, 2021. Despite the setting, Harris's advisors say her speech will be hopeful and optimistic. Aides say it is one of the last remaining opportunities for the vice president to try and reach what they call conflicted voters. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg has donated $50 million to Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. Harris and her economic team recently held a meeting with Bloomberg that covered a range of issues, including tax policy. In May, Bloomberg gave $19 million to the Biden campaign, but did not endorse Harris when she became the presumptive nominee. Election security is certainly a concern after fires at 2 ballot boxes. Fire-producing devices were set off at the ballot boxes in Portland, Oregon and Vancouver, Washington. Hundreds of ballots were destroyed in Washington, but only 3 were damaged in Oregon. The crimes bring up questions about the security of ballots during this hotly contested election, but CBS News election law expert David Becker says these cases are extremely isolated.
We're 7 days away, 45 states in D.C. offering early voting right now. You can probably go vote early in person, as I did this past weekend. It was incredibly quick and easy. You can return your mail ballot at this point. I think put it in a drop box, or if you're a little bit worried about that, take it right to an election office right now. I wouldn't put it in the mail because we're only 7 days away.
Police have released pictures of a car that may be connected to the fires. A driver in Florida found a box containing early voting ballots after it fell into the street yesterday. Election officials said a worker just forgot to lock the back of a truck. The driver found the box in a bag with completed ballots near the South Dade Regional Library in Cutler Bay, Florida, which is an early voting site and mail-in ballot intake station. Election staff verified all seals in the box and bag were, quote, intact and nothing was tampered with or damaged. And just a reminder, early in-person voting here in Kentucky starts Thursday, October 31st. Mail-in absentee ballots must be received by 6 p.m. on Election Day, November 5th to be counted. If you are registered to vote, you can find election guides, polling locations, and sample ballots at govote.ky.gov. Americans are feeling more optimistic about the future of both the labor market and the broader U.S. economy ahead of the presidential election. That's according to the Conference Board's latest consumer survey that shows that the Consumer Confidence Index jumped in October by the fastest clip since March 2021. And the number of consumers anticipating a recession over the next 12 months dropped to its lowest level since July 2022. Today is World Stroke Day, raising awareness about the symptoms of stroke and supporting survivors. There are an estimated 17 million strokes worldwide each year, according to the American Stroke Association. CBS's Michael George has one survivor's story about how therapies are helping him gain more independence.
Go for this one.
It's been nearly 6 months since Walter Neff had a stroke significantly impacting his right side.
This place has helped me tremendously.
Oh, amazing.
When I came here, I could barely talk.
You couldn't sit up.
The 79-year-old receives intensive speech, occupational, and physical therapy at Phelps Hospital in Sleepy Hollow, New York.
It is exhausting. I'm thinking I can do more than this.
Walter is training for everyday tasks like going up and down stairs.
There you go.
Scoot back a little bit.
And getting in and out of the car.
Actually requires a lot of coordination. You know, he's got to practice where to put his foot, or where to put his hands, and to gently put himself down in the chair.
Something Walter and his wife Nancy are grateful for.
Once Walter could start getting in and out of the car, then I can drive him. We can go out and eat. We can take a ride.
This machine gives Walter balance without needing a lot of input from his therapist.
It helps to promote some independence. It helps him to learn to shift his weight onto his affected side.
With the two therapies and speech, I've come a long way, but not back to normal. And I probably won't be. A year from now, I hope to be recovered as much as I'm going to.
There you go.
It's a process.
You think you're going to be maybe better in a few months, and that's not the case. But then I see what he was and what he can do now.
They look forward to the progress Walter's making every step of the way. Michael George, CBS News.
Walter is also receiving Botox injections that can help with spasticity after a stroke where the muscles become stiff or rigid. Coming up on First at 4, asbestos